Hi there. Here I'll be showing you how to install WordPress on web hosting plans. First thing you want to do when you visit hostbeak.com will be to go to hosting and go to other new hosting. This is assuming you have not gotten your hosting plan yet. Um, for me, I would like to go with, I'll probably go with Grand. But please note that any of our hosting plans, web hosting plans, can work with WordPress, and they also come with free SSL. So I'll go with this. So I already have an existing domain. So I would say use a domain name already purchased, or I will use my existing domain name and I'll just enter that. Yeah, and I can use this. So before you do this, if you already have an existing domain name, just ensure that that domain name is pointing to our name servers. Or if you're purchasing the domain name with a hosting plan, you don't need to worry because it will automatically just point to the hosting package. Yeah, let me continue. Since I'm paying for a year, there's a discount if you're paying for a year. And now we're about to check out. Yep, and here we go. Now on the checkout page, and you can use Paystack, Bank, Transfer Crypto, or USD card. You can go with Paystack and proceed to make payment. Please note that once you use Paystack and payment is made, your order should be marked as paid immediately. So here you can see I've made payment and that is currently processing. Here. If you're making a bank transfer to a GT bank, please note that you might need to wait for about an hour for that to be confirmed. Yeah, you can see the payment has been marked as successful. And now the order is complete. So now we can continue to our client area, or we can just simply go to log into our hosting account. So in your mail, you should have received details to log into your hosting, and that should be the big.host, app.big.host. That should be your login area. Should have received details there. Now you can enter your username will be your domain name, and the password is one that was sent to you. Ensure that your password does not contain any spaces when you are pasting that here. So now that we're logged in, we can now proceed to install WordPress. To install WordPress, you go down here to one-click installs, and you can scroll to the bottom or just type WordPress, and you should see WordPress here to install. And you should also ensure that the folder is empty. So you just go to File Manager here, and when you go to File Manager, you would want to open Public HTML folder and ensure that nothing is inside your Public HTML folder. Delete that. If you're installing it on your subdomain name, also ensure that the folder for that subdomain name is empty. So now that your public HTML folder is empty, you don't need to delete this, you need to delete the files inside. So make sure that it's empty. So now that it's empty, you can now go back and then you can now proceed to install WordPress. You can just search for WordPress here too, and you should see that on that one click installs. Now we're installing. So we're installing on the domain name, and yeah, we just need to just click install. You don't need to click anything, enter anything here, except you want to install WordPress inside the subdirectory. So just leave that empty and just click on install WordPress. So once that is done, you can see that's installed. This is the latest version of WordPress installed at at the time of recording, and you can see it's giving you two URLs. The first URL is your website, which is installed, and the second one is what we call a temporary domain name. So in case your domain name is not available or is propagating, for instance, when you buy a .com.ng and hosting for the very first time, your .com.ng will need approximately 30 minutes to an hour to propagate, minimum of 30 minutes to propagate. So if you're in such a hurry, you can proceed to do this. But the only drawback to using this to install your WordPress is that you might need to later go into the WordPress settings to change the URL back to this. So I'll be using the main URL. So ensure you use the main URL for easy access. So I'll just click on this. Yeah, and you can see this installation right here. And you can now proceed to finish up your WordPress installation. You can enter the site title, enter your username, whatever password you have here, you can copy that or enter yours and enter whatever email you want that to be. You can leave. So now WordPress is installed and you can now log in. So now we can enter and paste the password that we had there. And now you should have access to your WordPress dashboard. Yeah, you can see it's requesting to update your PHP. You can also do that in your dashboard, and you can see your site is not secure at the moment. In case it's not secure at the moment, you just need to go back to install SSL, and I'll show you how to do that. So here we're going to go back to our control panel, and then we'll go to SSL. Just search for SSL under security, and you should be able to activate your free SSL. Please note that you can only be able to install your SSL when the domain name is pointing to your name servers. Good. So that'll take about 30 minutes, and then you can click on force HTTPS now. Let's go back home. If you would also like to change the PHP version, just go to change PHP version page, and you can set it to whatever you want it to be. Perfect. And now if we go to sitedemo.com/wp-admin, you should see that the PHP error is no longer there and your site is now secure.